Happy New Year, y'all. It's kind of cold out here, which is rare for Southern California, but I'm freezing, so I'm gonna get busy. Today is New Year's Day, and my goal is to clean up a whole bunch of film and a whole bunch of critters. I'm going through the freezer. I've got old horns I gotta crown mount. Man, I think you guys just dig watching me go through stuff, so I fired up the camera. That ought to be a tough Euro. Look at that little dude. Wow. Alright, that's fun. Moving along. I know this one for sure is a bobcat. It's been skinned. This one was shot in the head with a shotgun, point blank. And so it's got some, gonna have some holes in it, but I think I can actually put that together, to be honest with you. Man, let's do a film on that one. Look at that little curly cute guy there. Bitchin'. All right, here we go. I'll move the camera around and start skinning. Planes. Seriously. I wrote there too late.
If you are new to the channel, welcome. This is how it goes. I'm going to remove all the hide off the face of this sheep. So if you don't want to watch, better turn it off now. Otherwise, business as usual. First things first, I'm going to cut him right up the nose and peel off as much skin as I can. Now this sheep has been in the freezer for a short time, because when I got it, it had a bit of an odor to it. And as you'll find out later, it had been sitting around for some time and was rotten. That wool was starting to slip. And I know you guys like to watch some of the nasty, so take a look at this. I was trying to skin this thing semi-frozen so that the smell wasn't too bad. But when I'd reach back there and grab a handful of wool, it would just pull right out. And no, skin is not supposed to be blue. That's the rotten. Just get everything off, all the meat, eyes, everything. The faster you do this, the faster you can get that smell to go away.
Yuck.
In a pot of clear water, I soaked that entire sheep and brought it to a boil for about 30 minutes. Once you pull that head out, I take a sand hammer and I smack the base of the horn as hard as I can to break that inner lining free. I'm trying to break the sheath or the outer horn away from the horn core so I can get it clean in and out. These horns can be so tough. After a good smack, you're going to want to turn the horn in the direction that it would spin off. At this point, I'll connect up my power washer and wash that horn in and out and let it dry in the sun. Then I'll take a Sawzall and cut down the horn core because I don't need all that excess inside bone. I can cut it down, it's less to wash, and a much faster product. I then take the skull, put it back in the pot of boiling water, add a little OxiClean to help degrease. I let it boil for long enough to let the skin on the top of the nose split. Then I pull it out and start power washing. The key here is to remove everything. Anywhere there's meat, any hole, any orifice, anywhere there's tissue or debris, spray it clean and make it go away.
So I'm having trouble getting the brain out of here. And it's because of these ear butts. You can see here. This is an old ram. See all that stuff? That's what's keeping that brain from coming out. Now I'll power wash in there and all that'll come free. Make sure you're spraying, excuse me, in all these little holes. Everything in here, everything's got a vein or something in it and they'll shoot out. If not, you'll have a dark line in your skull. If you've got an antelope or something that's got a dark line in there, it's always one of those black veins from a horned animal.
I get tons of questions about the brain, and in every case, I'll just reiterate, everything has to come out. The way I remove it is I power wash in and around all those holes, and it breaks the brain free inside the brain cavity. Then I take a pair of forceps, I go in, I grab the membrane that lines the inside of the skull, and I twist, and it pulls right out.
No more brain.
Brain's gone, time to start whitening. In the same pot I boiled this skull in, less the horns, I have a mixture of 40% by volume liquid peroxide and water. The ratio is 50-50. I put the skull in there, I brought it to a boil, and I turned it off. From there, I power washed the skull clean of any excess loose stuff, and I set it in the sun to dry. When the sun goes down, I always bring them inside, set them on something that'll absorb the liquid, and I put a fan blowing on them, and in 24 hours, 99% of all my skulls are dry. From there, I give them a coat of Mop and Glow. This is flooring Mop and Glow. I'm going to do the inside and the outside of the horns and the entire skull. One coat will just make it nice and sealed and beautiful. 2 coats will make it shiny. If you don't want shiny, don't put multiple coats. Mop and Glow dries very fast, and I like to dry fit the horns, meaning I put them on the horn core and push everything aside and let it dry to see if it'll fit. These are extremely tight, so I'm going to cut down the cores a little bit further, and then I'm going to mix up some Bondo, just regular automotive Bondo, put it inside the horn, and push them on and give them a good smack, get them good and tight so they harden in their natural position.
Wrapping up our sheep project. I did look up the name of this sheep. It is called a Karakul or Karakul. I think Karakul's a cat. So I'm going to call it Karakul, Karakul, Karakul sheep. Or we could just call it this micro curlicue. This is one cool little sheep. I believe it's domestically raised in Asia is where that species or genus comes from. It's just a really cool project. When they sit like this on the table, a lot of times I like to use the bottom jaw. And it's real simple. You just epoxy it back in place. Easy as 1, 2, 3. So that's that. If you have questions about horned animals, please shoot me a comment and I'll do my best to answer you back. I get almost 99% of the comments back. Sometimes I can't tell if somebody's talking to somebody else or if they're talking to me, and I don't know. But I try and respond to everything. To come on the skull deal, we're going to talk about pigs a little bit more in depth. Why some pigs oil up, why some pigs don't. I think it's in the feed and genetics. Some pigs will turn into white glass like this thing here, just brilliant, and some will always color up. That's nobody's fault, that's nature. We've got a couple of big mule deer projects. This is that bobcat that was in the freezer. It took one shot with that heavy shot dead coyote right through the noodle there. But the skull turned out really, really nice. Just with a bullet hole in there, and he had a big bum tooth. That was kind of cool. We're going to talk about small animals versus big animals. Let me rephrase that. We're going to talk about young animals versus old animals and how skull care is completely different. I am still expecting to get gator skulls. I do not have them. I have not got them. The second I get them, I'll get them done and have that video out within days. But I still have not received those. And then we're going to talk doe project. Other than that, this is a wrap on another video. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time.